You want to take one now?
I just did it.
Okay. Well, welcome this week, guys, on the Heavens Demons podcast. Officially episode Trey, right?
No, it's episode 4.
It's episode 4?
Yeah.
It's episode 4 now, guys. Wow. Well, maybe I shouldn't stop living in the past.
Maybe you should.
Or maybe I should. I don't
Maybe.
know. Before we
man.
start, I want to give a quick birthday shout out. When this comes out, it'll be a day late, but today is the actual birthday.
Today's actually
our-
Poncho's birthday.
Yeah.
Poncho's birthday. Our first guest last week on episode 3.
Was it really episode 3?
Yeah.
You
It was
could be
episode
right.
3.
And I don't want to fight you on it, but
You go ahead and look.
no, I think it is episode 3. You might be right. No, it was definitely episode 3. You were right. You know why? Maybe because in my head, I thought the first episode of the rebrand just didn't count. It counted, but I just didn't count it as 1.
If that's how you justify it in your head, bro, whatever helps you sleep at night. Whatever helps you sleep at night, bro, that's all fine. We're just trying to run a podcast here.
Guys, it's been a long day. It was a long weekend. It was a fun weekend. Shall we do a little weekend recap?
A what?
A weekend recap?
A weekend recap.
A weekend recap.
Okay. If you would like to, if you would like to
I
tell
thought
them
it was-
about our adventures.
We had a little voyage this weekend, guys. It was kind of last minute. We really didn't plan it out all that well. We just thought,
Clearly.
hey, let's go to Joshua Tree.
Yeah. Might
Hey,
as well.
we've been there before. We've been there a few times. We know how it goes. Should be all right.
Yeah. We actually know where the property is now.
Yeah, or at least a good amount.
Yeah.
of
We
the
know how to get there.
You know how to get
Basically, essentially.
there. And it was just us two. We're just like, fuck it. Usually we have a bigger group, but it was kind of last minute. I didn't want to burden everybody or trying to rush through plans, so I was like, fuck it. Let's just go us two. So we went to Joshua Tree. Had it just canopies, some coolers, chairs. You don't need much. This is not this isn't glamping by any means of the
No,
imagination.
it's the opposite of glamping.
It's
It's camping.
It's exactly, or the most low maintenance of camping you could ever think of.
It's not even camping. It's like, think of going on a picnic in the desert. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, except you can't really be on the floor because there's rattlesnakes, which we'll get to
Yeah,
that.
which we'll get to that. But
it
it was very much bare essentials of what you need: food, water, mushrooms. That's all you need. Shade. Yeah, that's all
chair.
you need. And we like to do this after every drop, because there's so much stuff that goes into each drop, and there's a lot of weight that you have on that you're not really aware of, like whether you're stressing about deadlines, contacting people. Just there's a lot of weight that you bear throughout a process. Most people don't know it takes like a month and a half. For me, I've been doing the designs since probably before we even dropped our Cure collection. I was already doing the designs for this drop, so that was in January. So
when you design, you would say you're 2 seasons already ahead.
yeah,
Minimum?
because I already have stuff for summer and winter already in mind. So it's like, yeah, I've already been working on this stuff, and I don't think we didn't, huh?
What?
We didn't do. I don't think we did, or we did do for the Cure collection. We did do a shroom trip, right?
We did. I think
Yeah.
we did. Yeah.
So I like to just rid myself of all that, just whatever emotional weight I have, which I recommend everybody do in your own way. You don't have to do mushrooms, but take at least a day to do nothing and relax and just unwind, because it wears on you. For my side, from his side, it's just so much stuff goes on, and if you keep going on and not reflecting on what you did and kind of shedding that dead weight, you're going to carry that with you in everything you do, and it's going to become a drag, and it's going to become, you're not going to like it. So that's what that Sunday was about, because this week we're already doing more stuff of getting more samples and stuff for the next stuff that we're going to do. So I was like, fuck it, let's just go Sunday. I'll clear out my schedule. He's not doing anything. So we went, and usually when we go on these trips before, because I don't know if anybody's been to Joshua Tree, but to get to the actual heart of Joshua Tree, I'm talking past town center, whatever you call that.
Yeah, off it's definitely not off the 62.
It's
I'll say
not off
that
the
much.
62. You got to take a left like you're going to go to Pappy and Harriet's. But
Yeah.
basically you're going into the mountain, tweaker country. And
We'll get to that.
And we'll get to that. But I like to as soon as I see we're gonna turn onto the dirt road to get to the property, what I thought was our property, was his property, and what we now know is his property, I like to already start eating my mushrooms. So by the time we get there, I'm already kicked in, ready to go.
By the time we get there, set up shop, sit down, boom, hits you as soon as you sit down.
And for whatever reason, my gut instinct was like, you know what? I'll wait. I'll just wait. And this spot is farther than the other spot that we always go to. So I'm like, you know what? I know when we get to the wash, it's a dead shot. Like, I could eat right here. By the time we set up canopies, lawn chair, I'm already gonna start feeling that warm, tingly feeling. By the time I sit down, play some music, already in it. Mm-hmm. But by the time we turned left into the wash, I was like, you know what? Something's telling me not to take it. I don't know what it is. Something's just telling me not to. Shroom gods, or the fact of we're in a heavy ass truck.
A heavy, longer, not equipped truck.
Equipped truck. Doesn't have off-road tires, has street tires.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of soft sand, so I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to eat the mushrooms now. Like, I'm so focused on us just getting there because I'm already feeling like a little shaky by how we handled some of the terrain to get there. I was like, oh, this might be a little bit of a struggle.
This could be a battle.
Yeah. And that's what I was experiencing on my end. And being just us two, like if there was other people, I for sure would have ate because there's more of us. Mm-hmm. I don't have to be the trusted co-pilot. There's a chain of other people that we could call upon.
Hey, teamwork. We got a bunch of people.
We got a bunch of people. Hey, bro, I'll do what I need to do, but I'm gonna do it high.
Yeah, I respect it.
And since it was just us two, I was like, you know what? I need to be locked in. I need to be loaded here.
Just in case.
Just in case. And sure enough, you could speak on from your perspective from what happened next.
So I didn't think about it previously because we went out in my truck. My truck is equipped to be out there. Mm-hmm. It didn't dawn on me before I even took the truck. I was like, you know what? My dad told me the tires aren't that great right now, so just be careful. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to get the last bit of these tires I can. That's what I thought. And two, I don't want to dirty my truck. So I was fuck it. I'm taking the bigger one. So we go out there, and we go on the main road. And I honestly really didn't even need 4x4 with my truck until we got to the wash. Before we even got to the wash on this truck, I was like, oh, I'm losing traction here. Like this ain't going good. Mm-hmm. And I know. I was like, it's only gonna get worse from here.
And you're feeling that. I'm seeing it. Like I'm seeing the truck side like this because I remember the first time we went and we were just going straight.
Yeah.
Like there was no tail action, swerve this way, get launched to the right and have to counter it. I'm like, oh no, we're in it. We are in it. So that was my perspective. From your perspective, you're just fucking going. And I'm like, oh, he's stressed. So keep going to when we turn left.
Hey, so we have to make the left into the wash. And at this point, I was thinking,
Thank you, Apple Maps.
Thank you, Apple Maps. And at this point, the 4x4 is on, but I'm still not getting a lot of traction. Mm-hmm. This is not going well. So I hit the left. We go all of about 40 yards at most.
Most 40 yards.
Most 40 yards.
I could, from what we're about to tell you next, I could see where I wanted to take the mushrooms and where we're at.
Yeah, so we get to there, I start sinking almost immediately, but I keep constant speed, so I'm not trying to dig us in further if we get stuck. So I'm just going. I'm like, oh, I'm not really going.
Trying to like serpentine it.
I'm trying to serpentine so I could get some type of traction in case I hit some rock to kind of like skid off of it. Mm-hmm. Nope, nothing.
No rock in sight.
Nothing in sight. So at some point, I just stopped because I was like, I'm going to get further in this wash, and if I have to get out of it, it's going to be a longer way back. Yeah. At least if we're stuck here, we can little by little ease our way out of it. So, guys, we're stuck. It's us two. I get out the truck, and I'm like, Shroom gods, if you want us to have a great trip, you will allow me to get out of this horrible situation.
In my head, I'm like, oh, we're really going to have to earn this one. And I think either you said it or I told you, I'm like, we're really going to have to earn this one. Like, it's not just pull up, park.
No, I think I said, I was like, we're earning this today.
And this dude, so my perspective, I like to think of myself as a very I have a different perspective, very logical, rational. I see things for what they are. I kind of I handle things really well in that situation. I don't crumble under pressure. And I just take it for what it is. And I'm not going to overreact or underreact to anything. I keep a cool head. And Arturo gets out. And he says, we got to find wood to get some traction. And if you know Joshua Tree, if we were in I don't know, name another desert that's clean. We're not going to find any wood.
No, none.
But we're in Joshua Tree. There's something that blew up There's trash everywhere.
it's a meth lab.
There's so much that you're gonna find something, and
but we've been there previously.
yeah,
I
know
saw
there's
the
trash.
terrain.
We know there's trash because we're almost near your dad's property. Like we could probably see it.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like I'm all gotta find wood. I look to my left. I look to my right. I just see Arturo running in that direction aimlessly. He just took off.
Because I knew where the wood was.
Yeah,
I knew where it was.
And
in my mind, I'm all. I'm a moron, but in my mind, I'm all, if I run faster, the truck is gonna sink less. It's not fucking quicksand.
Like it's quicksand, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, why is he running? And like he's like yelling at me like, we gotta find wood. And I'm like, I know, you just told me. And I'm walking in that direction. He found wood. He throws it. He's like, that's a good one right there, and just keeps running.
Because I know there's more. I was like, all right, we got the 2 tires. Right, let's focus on the back tires now. Let's find wood for that one.
And I'm like, all right, and I grab it. I'm like, any other things that, like, I'm looking. I'm like, okay, maybe there's wood right here. He finds more wood and he runs back, and I'm like, why are we running? Like, the truck's not going anywhere. There's no need to run. But he just has this sense of urgency, and I'm like, all right, bro, like we're gonna get out of this, cool, and stick it under the tires. And he's like, we gotta find just more wood just in case these ones snap. So I was like, all right. So I look at a bush and I'm walking, and I see that there's this bush and it has like a huge like wood plank sticking out. And I'm like, that's odd. How'd that get there? And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Wind probably blew it there. It looks sturdy. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, there has to be something on the other side of this. It's like creeped up right next to a bush. Huge ass bush here. Wood. And I'm like, there's something that lives on the other side of that.
And I can see you thinking about these things because you did one of these. And then you were kind of going around, and then you kind of got to the next part of your story, which you were hesitant with it, and you were like,
yeah, and I
knew something was
back there. I grabbed a rock and threw it at the board and like waited, and nothing popped out. Like I was expecting either a jackrabbit, something to pop out. And I know since it's getting warmer, it's snake season, so I'm like, okay, let me just wait to see if there's a snake. I grab another rock, throw it, and I throw it at a different part of the board, nothing. So I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. Like that's a little too good to be true. So I grab the board, I yank it, and then I yank it hard, and like I jump back just in case, just out of like my instinct, jump back. And I'm like, I'm waiting, and he laughed at me and was like, bro, I feel like there's something on the other side of this. And Arturo was like, hey, the board's not that serious, just leave it alone. I'm like, but we need the board.
We need more wood.
And I yank it out, and I'm looking directly at it, and nothing popped out. There's nothing there. And I'm like, huh. And I look to my right, and a huge fucking rattlesnake just curled up. And the only reason I saw it blended in. The only reason I saw it is because I recognized the pattern.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck. And I just, like, slowly, like, slide back. And I just yelled to Arturo, there's a fucking rattlesnake right here. And he's just like, bro, get the fuck away from it.
In my mind, I'm all, look, if anybody was ever to get bit by a rattlesnake, you know when's not the time to do it? When your truck is stuck.
Yeah.
In the middle. Hey, bro, if I got to airlift you out of here, what's my reference point? Don't got one.
I mean, you could send coordinates, but even then, like,
I don't know how to get my coordinates. I probably don't have much signal out there.
Yeah. So it's like, and so at that point, I saw the rattlesnake, and it just stayed there. And I like waited a second. I'm like, either one, it's dead, and I don't know if snakes hibernate, but the snake's just chilling. So I'm like, let's just get the fuck away from it. So then we start pushing the truck out, but I keep looking over my shoulder to see if there's a fucking snake serpentining straight at me, because then I'm gonna jump in the truck bed and tell Arturo, hey, fuck you, like we're gonna wait till either this snake dies or it just leaves us alone. And we're pushing the truck, got the boards under, and I'm looking, and literally the fucking axle, the drive shaft, everything is touching sand. And I'm like, oh, this is just not good.
It is deep in there.
It's deep. Fucking Arturo's like, on a count of 3, you're gonna push, and I'm gonna step on the gas. 1, 2, 3. I'm pushing. Dirt's fucking flinging in my face. You have the truck bed shaking like
horribly.
Like a fucking salt shaker, bro. Like a red nose. Just shaking like fucking you're playing Torque later. Mm-hmm. And it's just shaking, and I'm like trying to push, and this thing's fucking pushing me. I'm looking over my shoulder to make sure a snake's not fucking coming. And we only move like maybe 10 feet at a time.
So in my mind, I'm all right, good enough. All right, it's a good start. Good start. I know we still got a ways to go to even try to get to a certain spot that might might be sturdy enough for me to get on. And you know what? We eventually did get to that spot. Found out it's still too soft.
Still too soft. He does it again. We get the piece of board, put it under, goes again. Same thing. Truck bed shaking, whole truck shaking at this point.
Hey,
Dirt's flying everywhere. Dashboard lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. Every sensor you could think of
went off.
Every sensor you could think of. Basically, the truck telling you stop.
Hey, bro,
whatever you're doing, stop.
Hey, we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. And if you keep pushing me, this whole I'm gonna end this whole shit.
Hey, I'll air this whole bitch out.
Yeah, and I'm like, and our dude gets out of the truck. He's like, yeah, the whole. Some sensors went off. I'm like, which ones? All of them. All of them. I'm like, well,
anti-brake system, the traction control, everything's off,
bro. Everything, airbags, everything went off. Stuff that it didn't even make sense went off. Like the sensors are censoring, and I'm like looking at him. I tell him like, well, I could tell, like just looking at the truck. Yeah, I would imagine some sensors went off. Like the truck should not be moving like this.
No, not at all.
And we finally, 20 minutes. It felt like an hour, only 20 minutes. We finally get out of the wash. And Arturo's like, we're going to leave the truck here. My dad's property's up there. Let's just go find where it exactly is at. We walk, and we were literally, if we would have made a left, instead of going on the wash, if we would have made a left and gone down another road, it would have took us straight there.
Yeah.
Straight there. But since you had it marked in the center, it was like, oh, this is the quickest way to get to where exactly you're trying to get to. Versus, no, let's just get to the edge of the property.
Hey, you know what, dude? We got there.
We walked, and I was like, you don't think your dad's truck can make it right here? He's like, he's all stepping on the dirt to make sure. He's like, no, this is hard. Yeah, no, we can make it over here.
At that point, I was like, I can't fuck this up any further.
Yeah.
Mind you guys, like, look, there's nobody around us. There's nobody we can call. My dad's in a foreign
neighbors
country.
aren't friendly.
The neighbors aren't friendly. No, there's nobody that we're gonna call and be like, can you help us?
Yeah.
There is. Hey, we got to figure it out. So in my mind, I'm not gonna dig myself in a deeper hole.
Because this truck is the only way we're gonna get out.
It's the only way we're getting out.
So anyway, we set up shop, and I tell him just park right here on the edge off of the main road just in case a car comes by or somebody, one of your neighbors is driving by. Yeah, tweaker in a Durango, and and so whatever. 30 minutes go by, we eat our shrooms, start peeking, we go exploring.
Really exploring this.
Really exploring. I lose Arturo for a minute, and this happened to me. I swear to you, every hour, where I'd be like looking off in the middle. I was telling Fernie earlier, I look off in the middle distance, majestic, thinking to myself, what's the meaning of life? What's the meaning of what we do, anything? And I'm like, damn, it's crazy. I can't even see Arturo. And all of a sudden, this dumbass will say something, and I'll look, he's right next to me. Even though he took off 20 minutes ago, he's just right next to me, and he's all, hey, what's your name? And I'm like, oh, this fucking guy. I was right on the path to enlightenment.
I was like, what's your name?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this fucking... I was like, when the fuck did you get there? He's like, oh, I've always been here. And I'm like, what? Like, maybe 5 minutes ago. I'm like, dude, don't say no stupid shit like this. Every time. Without fail. And then he'll take off. I'm like looking off in the middle distance. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And I look, all of a sudden he's perched up on a hill to my right, and he's just staring at me. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
At one point I knew you were gonna turn over, so I was just like, SpongeBob.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my fucking god,
dude, I was on a really good trip.
Yeah.
Like, my first part of my trip was like very self-reflective, at like analyzing, very intuitive. Like I was very at peace.
Yeah.
And then the later part of my trip,
giggles.
I was just giggles. I was happy. I was happy because I didn't really take a super high dose.
Yeah.
You took a good amount more than me, so I was like, I knew you were gonna be on a different one.
And mine was kind of intense, but every time I see you, bro, without fail, giggles right away. And if you've been to Joshua Tree, you're gonna find some stuff that you probably shouldn't find. This dude comes back. He found a campground that's right over the hill. We thought we were in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, campground just right there. A fucking shower that he confused for a bathroom. It could have been a bathroom at one point.
Could be both.
A bath shower, if you will, but it would look like a half, like a 3/4 fucking outhouse because there was no door.
Honestly, guys, it was 3 fucking wood boards.
3 wood boards posted up with fucking clothing hooks.
Yeah.
And a fucking 2 fire pits. It was just like, and it was marked so. Like, it was obviously on somebody's property.
Yeah.
And he's like, found a campground, found a boat. And I'm like, how far is this boat? And like, I went and saw the campground first. Saw it. Went back to talk to him. Went to get a drink of water because it started getting warm. And I'm fucking cotton mouth as shit. Mm-hmm. And he's like, over there, it's either a fucking boat or an RV or both. And so I drink my water and I walk out that way. And he's I'm like, okay, I'm off voyage by myself because he stayed at the truck.
I originally stayed at the truck, and then I realized I cannot see Adam. If this by chance, if this boat or RV is a meth lab,
Yeah.
he's gonna walk. He's gonna walk into a trap.
Yeah.
So I, like a sniper, I was like, I gotta get the highest vantage point so I can see
Mm-hmm.
him. I'm just constantly looking at him. Okay, he's good. Okay, I lost him. Okay, I see him again. So that's what I'm thinking in my mind.
Bro, I got to a certain part and I'm like looking at the ground and I'm like, oh, here's another little fucking fire pit campground thing. And I looked at the truck and you weren't there. And I'm like, what the fuck? I looked to my right, you're right there. I'm like, dude, when I was like, you're following me? You're like, yeah, I gotta keep an eye out. So I'm getting closer and closer to this boat. And I look back and you stayed on the rock and I'm signaling at you to come over. At this point, it's at least 100 yards away. And I'm like signaling, I'm like, bro, get over here. Like, look at the boat. And you're just staying there. And I'm like, all right, well, it is what it is. This is the point where you go off by yourself, Adam. So I get closer and closer. I start getting real bad energy from this boat. And I'm like looking at it. I'm like, this is not right. There's something wrong with this boat. I'm like, who just parks a boat? You know?
I think the first question is, how do you get a boat to that spot?
Yeah. And I'm like walking closer and I'm like, if this is a meth lab, someone's going to shoot me.
That's honestly what I thought in my mind.
And I'm like, is it worth it? This decision? Because heart's breaking. I don't want to be in that collision. If you get the reference, it's fucking hysterical. But I'm like, is it worth it to really see this boat? I felt like Nemo. I'm going to go touch the butt. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting closer and I'm like looking and I'm like, looking at Arturo and he's just like staring, like looking at me, and I'm like, oh bro, like if I do get shot, like at least you're safe, like you can live to tell the tale.
Honestly, yes, that is true, but I also thought in my mind, I was like, because we saw some tweakers and some dirt bikes like moving mysteriously, like with suspicion, as if they're running from something. So
or just off-roading.
Maybe. Doesn't matter. The point of the matter is like, I need to have a 360 view of people just in case you're going onto somebody's boat and I gotta signal you.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
And so I get closer to the boat and I'm like, I walk around it, I circle it, and I'm like inspecting, and like I don't see anybody. And in my head I'm like, okay, I already experienced snakes earlier, so I kept throwing rocks like in my direction, like wherever I thought there was a snake, I would throw a rock just to see if anything would pop out before I got right there. And I'm looking at the boat and I'm like, there's nothing in there. So I grab a rock and I throw it on top of like the boat onto the roof of it, and it hit, and then nothing popped out. And I'm like, okay, there's no fucking snakes. It looked like the boat out of Mud. If you've ever seen the movie Mud with Matthew McConaughey.
Shout out Matthew.
And I'm like, there's probably like a fucking nest of fucking rattlesnakes in here. Like,
we said it later after you met up. I was like, that's a pit of vipers in there.
That's a pit of fucking vipers.
And you're about to cross paths with
them.
them.
And I'm looking at it and I throw another rock and I can see it's on a trailer. There's no wheels. It's been there at least 30 years. And I'm like, well, the tweakers came and got the wheels. They just left the rotors.
First and foremost,
they got the wheels off of this thing. They probably parked it here, took the wheels off with them so nobody else could take it. And it said, the license plate said Indiana, the boat's from Indiana. I'm like, oh, you came a long way over here, buddy. Like, how did you just get here?
You got lost at sea?
You got lost at sea and popped out over here. It's fucking...
It happens to a lot of people.
I guess so. Gulliver's Travels. And I decide I'm going to climb the boat. Before I even take the step onto the boat, I'm listening to Gunna, because I'm like, you know what would Gunna say in a time like this? I just want to, like, theme music. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, phone goes off, and I'm like, holy shit, it was fucking Fernie calling me. So I talked to Fernie for about 20 minutes. At that point, you couldn't see me because it was a downward slope where I was going.
Dude, at this point, I was worried.
Yeah, you're like, okay, either he got bit by a snake because he didn't get shot, or else I would have heard the gunshot. Mm-hmm. And I ended up climbing the boat, bro. It was a cool boat. Like, it was cool. I wanted you to experience the boat, but I was like, I guess I'm going to have to do this on my own. Climbed the boat. The ladder broke. So I was like, fuck it. I got to climb back down to get onto the top. I was going to actually get on the top.
Wave me in.
Bro, I was going to wave you in. Just go like this and shit on the top of the boat. Just fuck around. But I was like, no, I'm going to fall through.
No, dude. And that's what I thought in my mind too. I was like, I'm glad you didn't go on top of the boat, because you could have fell in there and you really don't know what's inside that boat.
I looked through the window, but I was like, bro, I'm gonna need a fucking tetanus shot, and Lord forbid I break somebody's meth lab. I'm dead.
Oh, they're killing you.
Yeah. So that was the boat.
Great voyage. It was a cool little boat experience. So we kind of met up and rendezvoused at the one of like the highest hills that we could find, and just kind of doing a 360. Because when you're on shrooms, like obviously you have different perspectives on things, but when you start changing like levels and elevations, now you're seeing things even more different throughout like your like continuous trip. And then we're chilling on top.
What?
We're chilling on top of that hill after the boat. And we're just silent, we're probably just both our own worlds.
Go on.
Then I can't even say it.
Don't even say what you're about to say. Look, point is, we really started answering some questions that, questions as old as time. But it's been answered, but we keep convincing ourselves that, monogamy is the way. And you know what? It just really ain't it. But either way, just like looking around, we're talking about monogamy, how colonization was probably just a misunderstanding, which is a really bad one. That one, I think I was making jokes just trying to giggle, but then I started really thinking, I'm like, maybe it was just a misunderstanding to begin with.
Oh, you know what? I want to go find somewhere. I just
want to be by myself. Like, I started looking at Joshua Tree. I'm like, all these people moved up here to be away from people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what if the pilgrims moved over here to get away from people, but they kept running into people? So Manifest Destiny, they just kept trying to go west until they couldn't run into anybody, but they kept running into
there's people everywhere. What do you... Hey.
Now, I don't justify the murder, but they just want to be alone. White people just want to be alone, I think. Yeah. Or surrounded by other white people.
Maybe both. How about both?
Yeah. But they go about it the wrong way.
Really wrong.
But yeah, it's just funny thoughts. When you do shrooms or when you're high, think about it. Obviously, when you're sober, it doesn't sound right.
Just had to be there. And then at the end of the trip, of course, we went to look at this house that was, I took a picture of it, posted on my story. They put up the fucking foundation and the walls and some infrastructure inside, and then just said, fuck it, I'm done. Like, there's can't do this anymore. Whatever. I could build a house, but it's never going to be a home. And it said no trespassing, cops will be called. I'm like, how the fuck are they going to get here? And by the way, when would they get here?
Yeah, like, all right, you're going to call them, and it's going to be 2 hours, 3 hours. We're going to be gone. And we walk back to the truck. We walk past a meth lab operation gone bad. There was a grave dug, a fucking safe that exploded, that they obviously got whatever they wanted out, and it funded the operation.
Or they tried to blow that safe up and get whatever was out of there.
Exactly, and it funded the whole operation probably. I was doing a real CSI forensic little, trying to piece it together. What happened here? What happened here? Why are there baby shoes? And obviously the head guy of it liked craft beer, but.
PBR, real classic guy.
Real classic guy. PBR everywhere up there. And we get back to the truck, and Arturo hears a car coming. He's like, oh, there's somebody close. I'm like, why do you say that? He's like, oh, I just thought I heard something. I'm like, either you heard something or you didn't.
No, I heard it.
And sure enough, a park ranger just pops out of nowhere and stops because he sees us, reverses, and drives straight towards us. And I'm like, well, you know what? He's coming right at us. I can't make any sudden movements, but my backpack's right there with the whole other eighth of shrooms just wide open. If he decides to get out and talk to us,
he could just
literally see it. And of course, the non-discreet walk over, pretend I'm putting something back in the ice chest, close up my backpack, and sit down. Sits down. Of course, he probably seen it 1,000 times up there.
Oh yeah, no, he's seen 1,000 times
and worse, mm-hmm. for sure. And he decided to have a conversation with us, which is probably one of the most awkward conversations I've had in recent memory.
It was one of those things where I think he overthought the situation
entirely.
And he tried and had do an authentic icebreaker.
Oh yeah,
didn't go as planned.
Not with me.
And not only that, but okay.
Look, he didn't know who he was talking to. First of all,
in my mind, I'm like, look, my shrooms are dormant at this point. Like, I'm not really too high or anything at the moment. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to talk to him as if I was just chilling out.
Yeah.
So I was really mellow with him. You decided to go a different route. You decided to go, huh? What'd you say? Can't hear you. Just making this guy repeat himself as if he didn't already feel terrible about what he said the first time. You made him say it a second time.
No, but honestly, it was because I really, I kind of half-assed heard what he said, but two, I couldn't believe what he said. So that's why I was like, no, there's no way I heard you right. Mm-hmm. And I'm acting normal, just being by myself. Anyway, I don't do well with cops. So I was just like, what'd you say? And he didn't get out of his car. He stayed over there like maybe 30, 40 feet away. And I'm like, what'd you say? And he's like, I bet you guys didn't think you were going to find anybody up here. And for me, that was a tongue twister to digest. So I'm like, bro, what? Hold on. Repeat what you just said. Because
It's not that hard to understand.
It's not that hard to understand, but I just want him to repeat just to see his energy of like, is he about to be a dick with us or is he just being cool?
I guess, yeah.
And he was being cool with us. Like after he repeated, I was like, oh yeah, no, we're surprised you got out here. And then that's when Arturo brought up the whole thing of us getting stuck. And he just like looked at us, looked at the truck, and he's like, well, you got street tires on it. And Arturo's like, yeah. And Arturo's just rocking in his chair. And that's all he said. Yeah. And I'm like, I looked at Arturo, I was like, well, you couldn't be any more awkward. And I just looked back at him.
I was not being awkward, bro. You were being awkward.
But you just said, yeah, left it at that. You didn't say anything more other than, yeah. Like, yeah, there's street tires on it. And he's just like, okay, well, what are you guys doing up here? And honestly, can you explain what we're doing to other people? Like, we're just, yeah, other than saying we came up here to do drugs. Like, no, we just came up here, like, you just said, oh, yeah, we're from the Coachella Valley. Like, we just came up here, you know, for some peace and quiet. And I'm like, do you care to give him some more information? Like, this is your property or anything?
Nah, because at that point, I wanted to see what energy he was on. Because I was like, if he wants to get smart about it, I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, I have my AP. Like, this is my property.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me anything about it.
And at that point, I'm like, okay, this is you're the closest to kin of whose property this is, so I'm gonna let you talk to him now. And he's like, okay, you guys come up here often? And you're like, yeah, once every few months or so. And he's like, cool. You guys aren't staying the night, are you? And we're like, oh no, God, no, we're not staying the night.
Nah, I'm not that brave.
Yeah, not that brave. And he's like, yeah. And like he's like looking around, like word.
Like he did one of these where he's looking at us, right? Because he's in the driver's seat, and then he kind of looked like to the passenger seat, like if there was somebody there with him. There's nobody there. He was just trying to think of something like
how to phrase, like when you're trying to think of. It's when you're thinking of how you're going to say what you're going to say next. And you got to make sure that you're saying it the right way because you don't want to be offensive. You don't want it to come off wrong. You don't want to be misunderstood.
or perceived wrong. Yeah.
Or perceived wrong. And then we're looking at him like, bro, just fucking say what you're going to say.
Like, yeah, go ahead.
Like, what do you, like, I thought he was going to ask us, like, exactly what we're doing out here. But then the dude just, like, a lot of tweakers out here. And I'm in my head, I'm dying because I got the giggles. And I'm just like, yeah, no, we saw a couple of them like as we're like just walking around, and he's like, yeah, just be safe. And that was it. Like, yeah, no, we'll be fine. We're gonna head out soon, anyways. Okay, well, y'all have a good one. And just drives off. I'm like, well, I was fucking awkward.
Like, this was the most weird conversation I've ever had with somebody.
Because how do you go about and then to top it off, he didn't realize he was talking to some tweakers. Like, he didn't realize. Like, honestly, guys.
Bro, we're not tweakers.
No. But, like, obviously, we're up there doing it. In the
yes.
moment, yes. But, like, yeah, bro, you're talking to some dudes that are fucking off some shrooms right now. Like, we're holding it together, but if I took a picture to show you what we look like from his perspective, and you could not explain.
In the middle of a desert, mind you.
In the middle of a desert, you just have a blue canopy. You got the truck here. You got an ice chest. You got a rocking chair. You got my fucking Dodger chair, and you got like a sound caddy, which is just a golf club that connects, and it's a speaker. It's a Bluetooth speaker.
It's a real spectacle out there.
And
I'll say that.
It's hanging there. You got fucking boom chicka pop right there, popcorn. You got trash right here. It's just like, what the fuck am I even looking at?
They're
like, I can understand from his perspective why he was like, if we looked normal, like if we're playing cornhole or something normal, he'd probably be like, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, if we're out there like drinking and just playing cornhole and just playing some music, just hanging out,
like we're tailgating or something, he'd probably be like, hey, let me throw one of those things.
Like, let me get one. Let me get in there.
But since we're just sitting in the shade, just like rocking back and forth, he's just like, y'all give me some hills have eyes, little vibe over here.
Y'all look like some old ass men over there.
Yeah. And we're just literally chilling like it's our front porch, but we're just sitting on, fucking property. And I'm like laughing to myself because I'm like, bro, imagine him, a park ranger, because up there the park rangers are the sheriffs. Imagine him, like what he has to go through, and he pulls up and he sees what he thinks are like just two normal dudes, which we are compared to everything else up there.
That's for damn
But
sure.
Looking at us, you're like, what the fuck are they even doing right here? Like, I can't gather what they're doing. Are they talking? Are they just like chilling in silence? Like, what's going on? And from our perspective, how do we convey to you what we're even doing?
Yeah.
Like, there's
No,
no,
it was- it- I
in
was
layman's terms, we're just sitting.
Like, if I had to explain, if I thought about I thought about it like this. So like, look, think about you being sober. Okay, think about that. Think about that. Now, if you're sober,
All right.
think about
I'm
it.
sober.
Okay,
I'm sober.
So how
Got
would
it.
I say this to this man to let him know what exactly is going
Like,
on?
we're
here?
not trouble.
Yeah,
basically.
No, hey, bro, we're literally just hanging out.
Yeah, and like when we say we're from Coachella Valley, we just drive up here just to get some peace and quiet. You drove an hour and a half. It's not like we're leaving LA.
No. And
we're,
then also,
we're literally leaving Indio.
Hey, bro, Indio's not a huge city. You know?
It's not a huge city, bro. It's a small town.
In comparison
to that, yes. But it's not a huge city, so it's like, what? You went to get peace and just fucking close your door. Like,
Hey,
what do you mean?
Not that simple, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, how do you really, like, what do I say? Like, I got to maneuver around, like, saying what I'm doing here without, like, giving you, like, obviously you're the authorities here. I'm not going to tell you I'm on mushrooms, but that's basically what we're doing.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say that.
I'm not going to say that. But, yeah, after he left, I was like, you know, he made it up here pretty easy because he's got all-wheel drive and fucking off-road tires.
All-terrain tires.
All-terrain tires. So, you know, he's obviously for any terrain. And, but yeah, that shit, that had me dying because it's like literally, and we talked about that. Like, oh, if we were to bring like our home, like not our homies because we brought homies up there, but like we were to bring like some people that we've talked to just do that, how many people would understand what we're doing, or how many people would be down just to
even do it,
just to be in the middle of a desert to take shrooms and just walk
and just hang out, or you know what, be in silence.
And midway through my trip, you know what I thought to myself? I can understand how Jesus thought this was 40 days and 40 nights.
Yeah, dude. Because at some point, in those few, we're actually out there a good amount of time. We're actually out there like 6 hours.
Yeah.
But it felt like 3 different days. Like if you told me like if
it
I had
broke
to
up into different sections.
Yeah, if I had to write it out on a piece of paper, like what happened, I was like, oh, 3 days happened right now.
Yeah, if he just ate like a bunch of mushrooms because he was hungry. And had a real ego death trip, I can understand how he thought it was 40 days and 40 nights. Yeah, or at least that's what I would tell people.
And honestly, you don't even
spiritually it was.
Hey, you don't eat either. So
yeah,
I could see how the boy just we're just gonna keep going, keep eating more.
Keep going, yeah. Oh, I was out there for 40 days and I saw the sun rise and set 40 times. I could get that. You probably blinked 40 times.
Hey, it might have been 4 days, 4 nights. In reality, it might have been 7 days.
Might have
at most,
maybe, but I got it.
Great trip to me, honestly. Great trip. Very enlightening, very fun. Exactly what I needed. Did it start off with some adversity? Sure.
Of course it did.
Hey, but you know, we got through it. Hey,
by the time we set up the camping, I already know. By the time we were finding woodboard pieces, I already know what kind of trip this is going to be. I already know. We killed about 40 minutes with getting out of the sand and then getting to the spot, like, all together.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I just lost 40 minutes and I almost did the cardinal sin because I was waiting.
You said it out loud too.
I said it out loud. I was like, bro, I almost committed the cardinal sin.
And I was like, what, murder?
And I look at you like, what do you know, you fucking idiot? I almost took more drugs before my first drugs kicked in. That's the cardinal sin
Which
of
made me laugh. We were
the
dying.
cardinal sin of taking hallucinogens. At least wait for your shit to kick in before you take more.
Oh yeah.
And then when it hit, and I'm like laughing to myself because to try to have conversation on shrooms with somebody, it's hard to get words together because you're just overanalyzing sentences. But when you walk by yourself, you can talk because you just say whatever's in your head. Like you're thinking out loud. But it's just like you get kind of like I wouldn't say nervous, but you're just like overanalyzing like what words to say when you're speaking to somebody else so they can understand exactly what you're saying.
You know in your mind how much in a different state you are. So you have to say the right words because you know the person next to you is in that altered state too. So what do I need to tell you for you to understand this? And sometimes a basic sentence isn't a basic sentence.
It's not so basic.
No, not at all.
Or you just overcomplicate it. But that was our weekend. That was just Sunday.
That was just Sunday.
Or 40 days and 40 nights. But
it was at least a week out there.
But that's our weekend recap. That was a long weekend recap. I hope you guys enjoyed that story.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys hated it, well, let us know too.
If you hated it, well, hey, don't knock it till you try it. Why don't you go out in the desert in a 4x4 and
with all-terrain tires.
With all-terrain tires, learn from our mistakes. Take some mushrooms, just be one with nature. And then tell me it was a bad time.
Yeah.
But let's get to the podcast.
Okay, what do we want to tackle first? Do we want to go quick and straightforward with the LLC thing, or do we want to wait for that till the end?
let's talk about. I think the LLC is important for information, so let's do that right now.
Okay, so
Let's get that out the way.
because we're LLC, and this is a podcast pretty much centered around small business and things of that sort.
And this podcast is now underneath the LLC
that it is too. So we're gonna pretty much explain on how to set up LLCs
and why it's important.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, before I'm gonna preface this, it is not that hard. If anybody in this world tells you, oh, you need to pay somebody $900 or $1,200 to start an LLC, don't do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't take much. I know.
I'll say this before you get too far. If you can't afford it, obviously figure out how to do it by yourself. But if you can afford it and you don't have the time, then contract somebody to just do it because you don't have the time to do it. Not that it takes a shit ton of time.
It doesn't take much time. I
But
guess if you
yeah.
have the money, spend it however you want. If it's gonna be too much of a stress for you, pay the $900, whatever. But if you have
If
some time,
if $900 is just light work to you, PPP. I mean, you just getting your money.
boys up out in Miami. But if it's too much for you, go ahead and not. But if not, you can do it. It's pretty simple. All right. So
What is an LLC, first of all?
LLC, limited liability company. There's many different ways. There's a few different type of LLCs. I'll say that too. And when I say that, there's a member managed LLC and a manager managed LLC. We personally are a member managed multi-member managed LLC. That's what this is here.
MMMC.
I guess. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. I'm not even going to try to think about it. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Because there's two of us, obviously, and we run the thing. And we run the thing.
Manage of sorts.
This is a multi-member managed LLC because there's two of us. Whatever. If you had an investor or something, or if somebody wanted to invest in your business, it would be a manager, or how is it? Yeah, a manager managed LLC. That's what it would be. Because the member of there's not a member that's the owner. So you're just a manager.
Yep.
They're an owner somewhere else. So there's two different, and there's also different ways that you could tax it. There you could tax it if we're just one person, it'd be a sole proprietor. There's two of us. We have ours taxed as a general partnership because we don't make crazy money yet. So there's not really much yet. It doesn't need to be that complicated in terms of write-offs. If you started making really good money, which we hope to one day, we want to get into S corp.
No. Which we hope to. Which we will
get to. We're gonna transition into a C corp or an S corp type of taxation, which gives you more write-offs, more things like that.
And explain to them you can go up, you can't go back.
Yeah, you can never go back. So because we're at the basic, either sole proprietorship or general partnership, we could always go up to S corp or C corp. You can't go back down.
Which we recommend start off at the base level. Just get your LLC done. Start base level and work your way up versus, we all have the aspirations of our business, of our company to get to the S corp level. But if you're not there yet, that's fine. Don't say that's where I'm going to get, so I might as well get that license now. What if you don't get there? You spent all that money and you can't, move backwards, as what Arturo was saying. So you could start off as the sole proprietor or a multi-managed LLC and work your way up as your business grows, as your company grows.
Yeah, there's no, and the reason I say
no
that
shame
is
in
because
that.
if you're an S corp or C corp, when you're under these certain taxation, you have a lot of different requirements in terms of, okay, now you need to have your annual minutes. You need to have certain contracts. You need to have certain percentage stakes, things like this. And this requires a legit attorney. You need to have a lawyer. You're going to be paying thousands of dollars for things that you really don't need if you're not making crazy amount of money. If this is 5 people and you're grossing $2 million, yeah, let's go ahead and have an S corp. We can afford it. But if not, there's no need. Okay, so we could start with that. Because we're a multi-member, like I said, we have an operating agreement on what the roles are, what the dynamics are, what the percentages are. We ain't the JBP. We ain't gonna be talking about our contract like that.
No, if I asked to see accounting, I could see accounting.
Yeah. Hey, hey, how about this? It's not even on a spreadsheet either. It's on an actual bookkeeping system.
It's on a bookkeeping system.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wild, huh? God. Hey, that system, by the way, free 99.
Free 99.
You're welcome.
Say.
You're welcome. So we have an operating agreement. If you were gonna get into business with a friend, you could also do this free, by the way, too. You can sign up for a free trial. You download an operating agreement. You fill it out to what your specifications are. You could do LegalZoom. You could do eForms. I think I did eForms. And you just print it out. You have it all. We both sign it. You get it notarized, signed, everything. Boom. That is your contract. Something happens. This is the basis of what we're gonna go off of. This is your percentage. This is your percentage. My role, your role. It's written out. So that's one.
Clear cut, dry.
Clear cut, dry. If you're gonna be in if it's more than one person, if you're by yourself, you're gonna be fine. Next,
Or if you don't trust yourself.
That's a different argument for a different day, boys.
That's it.
Or girls. Next, you're gonna do the LLC registration with the California Secretary of State. So in that LLC registration, it's the articles of organization, which pretty much tells you, okay, the people in it, what's your address, what's the business address, billing address, how is this structured, are you a sole proprietor, are you a LLC, how are you taxed, just basic information. It's not, none of these pages, by the way, are more than 2 pages. Like, they're pretty short. So that's one. By the way,
double spaced.
And this is the most expensive thing you're gonna spend on. It's $75 with the Secretary of State to file it.
I don't know if I got that.
You don't got $75? Probably shouldn't be doing it. Next one is the LLC 12, which is a statement of information. This one, I know this one's gonna be a lot harder. It's $20 to file. Crazy money, right?
Holy shit!
If it's not in the
We're
budget,
at $95.
if it's not in the budget, don't fucking do it.
Hey, just do it under the table. PayPal it.
and that
Venmo, Zelle.
The LLC 12 is pretty much almost the exact same thing as the LLC registration. It asks you for your address, the type of business, who are the managers, who are the members, what are their addresses. So this one's a little bit more specific.
But all things you should know.
But all things you should know. It's going to be a little bit more comprehensive than what's on the first LLC registration, but not that vast. Again, not more than 2 pages. So if you don't have money for that, then don't be doing it. So that's pretty much it. I mean, it really just depends on what type of business you're doing. Because we're in an apparel industry, we have a reseller's permit, so we can get certain products that are non-taxed, which
there's perks to that. So with being legit in how you do your business, there's perks and benefits to that. As what he's saying, like your wholesaler's license, we get, special discounted prices. We don't get taxed.
Don't get taxed. With that being said, we do have to report all that, and we do have to pay taxes on what we're not taxed.
Annually.
I know. So then you think to your head, isn't it just easier just to pay the regular price? Yes and no, because if you think about it, if you're paying regular price, you're always going to be paying that regular price, and you're never going to get advantages. When you have a reseller's permit, you get special stock, you get special discount,
you get access to stuff that the general public doesn't get access to.
Yeah, so there is a lot of pros to it, and sometimes even after you pay your taxes on the things that you bought at a non-tax rate, you're going to pay some, but overall, you still save money. You save money at the end of the year.
I'll say this as somebody that hated paying taxes. Like, growing up, as soon as I started working, I hated the fact of I got to pay taxes, got to pay this. And now that I'm, we're in business, doing business together, learning more stuff about it, I don't look at taxes as a negative thing, because the reason I'm getting taxed this is because I made a certain amount of money. Obviously, I can afford to pay this if I budgeted everything right, if I did everything the right way. That money's there.
Exactly.
And if I'm responsible enough, that money should be there set aside for the taxes. I shouldn't touch it, or I should just always take an account for that.
Always take into consideration.
That, when tax season comes, there's going to be an amount I have to pay for. If they ask for, I saw somebody post that said, you're trying to get back $10,000 in taxes. I'm trying to pay $10,000 in taxes, because if you're paying $10,000 in taxes, you obviously made way more than $10,000 to be able to afford that.
Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this is the bigger expense, but you don't owe it all up front. You have to pay, what's it called? It's pretty much when you get your EIN number, which is an important part as well, because that makes it a legitimate business.
And you could get a business account.
It's pretty much how the federal government identifies your business. That is $850 or $875 annually that you don't have to pay all up front when you get your EIN. You could apply for it and you don't pay a damn thing. But every year you have to pretty much pay $850 to keep your business intact and incorrect. It's just a fee, or it's just a fee that pretty much you tell the government, I'm still in business. That's always. But like I said, you don't have to pay all up front. If you get good enough profits throughout the year, set some money aside, because you're gonna owe it. So just keep that in mind.
At some point, you're gonna pay that. Like, it pays to do things the right way. And not many of us want to do it. I mean, growing up, how we did, we weren't taught these things, so it's so foreign that, you know, you just like, if I don't know it, I don't understand it, I didn't learn anything about it, I'm not gonna do it. Like, it freaks me out. I trust myself with money. Like, even I can remember when I first opened a bank account, I was like, no, I don't want to do that because I don't see my money. At least I can see my money that I have it. But no, you have to have a bank account. Like, that's just how society is. Yeah. So especially into this business world, you've been in it longer than I have. So it's like, I trust you with that. I'm updated on everything. I have access to it. And
they sent him. American Express did send you a black card. I was like,
they did, and it's sitting on my dresser there just in case you change your mind.
You're all, hey, one day we might need this.
One day we might need this. I'll be a fool to cut it up and throw it away. But hey, you know what? It's cool. It's cool, bro. I mean, my business got offered American Express before I did. Hey, I can hang my hat on that. That's a win.
Obviously, something's going good.
Something's going good.
We're in good standing so far.
Hey, so far so great.
Haven't fucked it up yet.
So I wanted this episode to be focused on that because we have friends that have businesses, and there's something like I was alluding to earlier. We weren't taught financial literacy.
No.
And one thing that I wanted this podcast to be was to spread financial literacy, was to kind of give you guys, if you are considering going into business, if I've noticed a lot of people, you know, becoming entrepreneurs, starting their own small businesses, and have questions about moving forward because, you know, it's uncharted ground for most of us.
Yeah.
So any game that we could give you that we have, I'm more than willing to share. So, you know, it's easy for the next person.
Yeah. And if you have any specific questions, I know, obviously we're an apparel brand, so we are in a specific industry. If you want to do something else, don't be afraid to reach out. You'd be surprised if I don't know the exact answer. I could probably, or you can direct you to somebody that's probably going to be able to give you that answer.
But at the bare bones, an LLC is an LLC.
Yeah.
And that's something that you're going to need if you want your business to be legit, if you want to aspire to have a storefront, a business, if you want a business card. Like, I think it's so cool I have a business card. I didn't think I would get that. I always had dreams of it, and for most people it sounds dumb, but for me it's like, dude, I never thought I'd have a fucking business account. I never thought I'd have an LLC. I never thought that, you know, I'd have these certain things that I have now.
And I should have started off with this. LLC is not everything. You could have a sole proprietorship, you could have a general partnership. The good thing about LLC is literally in the title. It's a limited liability company, which means if something does happen, if something does go wrong, of course they're going to attack your business first, but anything left over, then it'll go to you. So it's going to cover you so long as you're doing things right, you're going to be covered. Not like if it's a sole proprietorship or something, it's straight to you. There is no liability.
And another thing that we should have led with, as you were saying that, most of you I've probably heard this growing up. The poor man's trademark. It is a myth. It doesn't exist. It's something that was said, but so what it is basically you writing down a statement of facts, article of facts, or whatever you want to call it, of this is the name of my company. I started on this day and I own it, you know, signed, sealed. You mail it to yourself.
It's articles of organization, essentially, but a poor man's way of doing it.
A poor man's way of doing it, and you're like, oh, I've been told growing up, like, oh, this will hold up in court. Like, if somebody tried to take your business, at least your name, or do the exact same thing you're doing, you could take them to court and be like, no, this is proof that I started. It's sealed. It was, you know, stamped by the USPS. It's a federal not federal. What would you call the USPS?
Well, I mean, they are federal government, but it's not a federal. It's not a federal document that is
that's notarized and anything. No. But
you know what is? Your Secretary of State for whatever state you're in.
You could take that to court and they'll laugh you out because it's not a thing.
Oh, your lawyer's not even gonna want to go to court with this. They'll be like, no, don't even try it, honey.
And well, if you want to represent yourself, but
don't do that either. Jesus, not like in the movies, guys.
You can't handle the truth. They're all, no, you can't handle the truth. I want
justice.
But yeah, so that's a myth. We should have led with that. But if you made it to here and you're thinking in your head, well, I could just mail it to myself, and don't.
Spend the $70.
Yeah.
Send it to the Secretary of State and file it.
Save the money on buying a stamp and start putting your pennies to the side and spend that 75, spend that 20, or spend that $20 and get your business started, get it legit, and get it up and running. Postpone when you're gonna pay the 800 and some odd dollars that Arturo said. I don't know the exact amount, but
50, 75, something like that.
Something like that. That's money that you are gonna eventually pay. So start making your money and start setting aside of, hey, I'm gonna have to pay this eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just start setting money aside. If you want to, if you want to start paying yourself early and set money aside, do whatever you want. It's your business. However you run your business is solely on you. We're just telling you exactly how to do it the legit and right way.
I'm giving you the tools. How you use those tools is on you guys.
Is on you. And then you'll have an LLC. You'll have a business account, hopefully. Get your own business credit card, business line, and get your own storefront for whatever it is that you do. Whether it be a bakery,
Sex
it'd be
Huh?
No. Just whatever it is that you do and you want to do it the right way. There it is. Knowledge. We're advancing as the generations come along. Look at us, bro.
Hey, growth.
Hey,
look how we started the podcast. Hey,
no, it's not well, technically it is the start of the podcast after our recap. So yeah, you're not wrong.
No, I was saying even just a recap. Hey, bro, a few days ago we were stuck in the desert. Hey, didn't know if we were gonna make it out. Now we're dropping gems.
And we're here. We survived to tell you how to start an LLC.
So do with that information what you will, folks. But if you guys like these type of things, or if you want to know more about specific things, message us directly. Message the podcast page. We could talk about it because the same question you probably have is the same question other people probably have,
or the same question we had at one point, and we found the answer.
Yes, sir.
Hey. What's next on the topic?
Oh, what's next? You want to do fashion trends? Because you brought this up, and I thought it was interesting.
Yes,
it was something I never even thought about.
It was a conversation that I was having with somebody the other day, and she was suggested this topic, and said a good topic to have would be to discuss fashion trends. And with these fashion trends, it's not whether we like them, don't like them. It's the longevity of them is shortened. So on average, a fashion trend's lifespan is 1.5 years, a year to a year and a half,
which I didn't know.
And that when we were growing up, when we were in, that's how it was. Even before then, like it was always the lifespan of a trend was a year and a half of wearing plaid, wearing certain fashion trends. If you think back, they lasted a while.
Yeah.
Versus now, a fashion trend's lifespan is 3 months, which is significantly less. And basically she was asking, why do we think that is? And immediately I thought fast fashion, because fast fashion and social media. So when we were growing up, we were in the middle of like the birth of these social medias of Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, Facebook. Yes, those were all birthed when we were in high school. So we started to see the social media aspect, but we had our trends for that average lifespan. It didn't change. I remember growing up, and my mom, when we weren't wearing uniforms anymore, when we had to get clothes to go to school in, we would drive to LA because my mom would say, I want you to dress different than everybody else here because everyone has access to the same stores. So back then, you would have to rely on your local retail stores to get your latest fashion. And if everybody from your school is going to the same store, you're going to be wearing the same clothes as somebody else.
And boy, did you.
And there's nothing for guys. I mean, it's kind of hit or miss depending on who's wearing what you're wearing.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I don't want to be wearing the same clothes as that guy. Or you laugh at it like, hey, look, fucking twins.
Oh, bro, and now that I think about it, like there was a long period of time where we just wore like pro clubs or shakas, and it was just different colors, different sizes,
yeah.
But for majority of the part, you're gonna wear the same goddamn thing.
Shopping at the same spot, you're gonna get you're seeing the same product because those retail stores the buyers are buying a certain styles, and that's what they're stocked up with. You don't have, and mind you, when we got out of high school, there was one kid, he won best dress, rightfully so. Our senior year,
damn
Lorenzo. Straight. He was up on game with Karmaloop, with Plunder, and these online retailing stores where you would buy it online and then wait, a couple weeks for it to come in. It was all streetwear stuff. big brands, and they'd have like discounts and stuff like that. And he was up on game with that. And for us, it was kind of taboo. It's more like, no, let's just go to the outlets. Let's go to LA. Let's go to, to the garment district. Let's go just find.
Yeah, but even that, and I didn't like the online shopping thing only because at the time, like, there wasn't really there was Amazon, but not to what it is now. To ship things back would be a hassle, and most of the time it's like, bro, I need clothes because I really don't have any anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait the weeks, and then if it doesn't fit, what happens? I'm fucked.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, they didn't have the luxury.
It's a lot of unknown.
Yeah, it's a lot of unknown, and for be honest, it's kind of a luxury.
Yeah.
Not many people can at that point do a lot of online shopping.
Yeah, and Cyber Monday was at its peak. It was like literally Monday is when they'd have the huge deals.
Oh, yeah.
And every store, that's where you would go, versus it was right after Black Friday. So you'd go in person Black Friday, and then Cyber Monday would hit literally the Monday following. But now you come to where it is now, and the internet is so prevalent that every day Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday deals aren't even that great anymore.
No.
But as far as fashion trends, because of the evolution of the internet, the evolution of social media, you can see what everybody's wearing. You could see, literally, your friend posts a picture, you could see their whole outfit, and you'll see your favorite, celebrity post a certain outfit, you want it. Literally, their millions of followers see the same thing. They all go do their research on what they're wearing, and then they buy it, and then now everybody has it because of online shopping.
So do you think? So I guess my question would be, because do you think the short span of fashion trends is because we see trendsetters more?
It's honestly, it's because exactly what you're saying. We see trendsetters every day when we open our phone.
Yeah.
Somebody you admire is wearing something, you want to kind of either you want to shape your style after, or you literally want to just fucking copy paste. And you want to wear the same thing. If you see your favorite artist wearing Pumas, you're probably gonna be like, well, let me go look at some Pumas.
Shout out J. Cole.
And so with that, it's a double-edged sword, because you also don't want to dress like everybody else.
No.
And that's why you see your timeline full of a certain shirt. It's like, well, what the fuck? Like, okay, now I need to find another trend. And the same thing with that. If you see your favorite celebrity wearing a high fashion or designer brand, and you're like, well, I can't afford that.
There's no way I can afford a $300 shirt.
No way. But you know who else saw that? Fashion Nova. And all these other brands saw it, and they're making their knockoff version of that. That's, hey, that's a $300 shirt. This one's $20. And then you're buying that. And literally, once you click buy, it'll be there in a week.
Yeah.
So the fast pace of it, and you'll literally have it the next week, and then you could go out and wear it. It's not going to be the best quality. It's probably going to there's going to be something wrong with it.
You're going to have like 4 washes max.
And you're done with it. And so that's good and bad for fashion. I'll say for our brand, I don't even just say for our brand, but for brands in general. Yes, it's good because a lot of people are going to be exposed. Once your brand pops, a lot of people are going to be exposed to it. A lot of people are going to want to buy it.
Yeah.
The shitty part is you're going to constantly have to reinvent yourself because we're in the microwave generation.
Yeah.
You can't just live off of, like, back then Diamond Supply could create three shirt designs and live off that for
felt like a year.
It felt like a year.
Or
at least until the winter. And then they're going to make the hoodie of that same design.
Like, oh, real creative.
And that's what you think now. But back then it's like, bro, yeah, that's real creative for them because it's like nobody else is doing this.
Yeah, it's a constant struggle. I feel like people that are, or just brands that are in kind of positions like us, it's a double-edged sword because it's good that like, I still like that there's fast fashion like the H&Ms and everything else, because you know what, like, I think about it like survival when I was younger. It's like, yeah, I needed these type of outlets because I couldn't afford some of the bigger stuff. So that, I think that has its place, and people should always have that because that's accessible for a lot of people. It's very beneficial for a lot of people. But I guess like the kind of the opposite spectrum of that is I personally don't, just like you and a lot of people, I don't want to wear the same thing as a lot of other people. But you know what? I can't afford either like the high fashion. I would love to buy something from Rude, but I can't afford it.
Yeah.
So I got to find somewhere in the middle. And sometimes those brands in the middle, it's hit or miss because the way some of the stuff's priced, it's very high or just higher than I guess the fast fashion, but you don't know what you're going to always get. Like there is brands that you know for a fact, like I'm gonna spend this much on that shirt, and that is pricey, but I know exactly
It's gonna be quality. I know exactly what I'm getting.
and I love that.
Exactly.
So, but
like when you order a Heaven's Demon shirt, you know it's gonna smell fresh, it's gonna be soft, and it's gonna be quality.
always
Go on.
great blogs, great videos, great marketing,
Great everything.
Hey, the two owners, bit of jackasses, but other than that, we're all about small business.
What I'll say
But it's hard to find the like it's trial and error.
Yeah.
With like those brands in the middle that you know that you're gonna spend a little bit more, but you really don't always know what you're gonna get.
But also back in the day, when you would buy something, it wouldn't be the right size. It'd be a hassle to send stuff back, get a refund.
God.
Now it's so easy to where if you get shipped something wrong, you could ship it back and get the companies will literally say, yeah, go ahead and ship that back. We're already going to ship you your new one to compensate
the only
for,
thing,
for whatever
they'll give
mishap.
you the shipping label, and they'll be like, all you have to do is pretty much buy the box that you're going to ship it in.
Or if you didn't keep the box it came in, you could use the same box. If you threw it away, you're gonna have to get a new box, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I always think about that too whenever I get new things.
yeah, but it's a catch-22. Like, yes, it's good for new brands can pop up every day. All you need is a website. You don't need a storefront, and you could have great designs or a great concept, and you could be a business. But the downside for that is your consumer base is like, fucking give me more. Give me more. What's next? What's new? You did that already. I need it now. I can't wear that color again. I can't wear, like, if these consumers had to wear that one Diamond Supply shirt for 5 months, oh fuck no. Like, I'm gonna need more from you.
No, hey bro, we could be so lucky back in the day.
It's like it's crazy, like the consumer market. I'm not speaking just for ourselves, but just watching the market is you want high quality garments, you want high quality designs, you want like how you said, real original, you want original designs, you want a concept.
You pretty much want a one of one.
You want all this stuff, but for a fast fashion price. And it's like none of that of what you listed is fast fashion. Like fast fashion doesn't even do that. Like they literally use cheap garments, they use slave labor, they use some basic models, and they use Photoshop to put different colors on them of the garments, and then they just ship it to you and say fuck it, whatever, and they made their money off of you because they're volume. And what you want from streetwear brands or just small brands is you want quality, you want real original designs, you want concept, you want to be taught a story, you want it to be hip, you want it to be a good ad, and you also want it to be a cheap price. And it's like, fam, that's impossible.
Yeah.
And markets of like Fashion Nova or even Amazon does this as well. Like they weed out where you have opportunities. Also, like you got to perform at such a high level, and you really have to earn the consumer's dollar to buy your product.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they could just go to H&M and like, hey, that shirt looks like a rude shirt, but it's not a rude shirt, but from a distance it does, and it's only $20.
It's not gonna hold up over time. But
it's not gonna hold up over time.
I'll buy another $20 shirt in a month.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is. You'll spend in another month another $20 shirt. That's $40. That would have been one good shirt.
Yeah.
That would last you, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, depending on how you take care of your clothes. That's another thing. People need to learn how to take care of their clothes.
That's for damn sure.
People need to learn how to take care of their clothes. Like, you just don't throw shit in the washer and then the dryer and expect it to be normal.
Guys, read your labels.
It's there for a reason.
I even knew about this when I didn't have good clothes because my mom wanted my clothes to last as long as it did. Obviously, you want it to stretch out. So, hey, if you're gonna dry your pants, you better dry it at most 5 to 10 minutes, like on air dry, just so it's not super damp, and then just let it air dry. Because if you dry it on high, that shit's gonna shrink.
Yeah, bro, I can't tell you. When growing up, I fucked up on drying jeans. I had to put them back in the washer, and then my mom taught me a trick of put your jeans on wet, and the denim will stretch.
Yeah.
And I'd have to literally do fucking squats.
Yep.
And like pull just for it to go back to kind of normal, kind of not, just to salvage the pants.
Versus, I walk around the house.
Huh?
I walk around the house.
Yeah, and it's like, and you gotta wear wet denim. Like that doesn't feel great.
Not fun.
But yeah, and it's not like oh fucking pity us. It's just like to kind of understand, because I mean I had a perspective of it, a kind of different perspective, because I've always appreciated fashion. I kind of always being I have a family member that is a designer, so it's kind of like I have I've heard that perspective growing up,
Right.
kind of, and I just had a great appreciation for clothes versus, just being a straight up consumer. And you kind of need to hear like the fucking the dichotomy of it. You
Yeah,
need
the
to
both
hear
sides.
from the actual people producing your stuff, like what we do, and we do it because we love it, and we're trying to give you an experience. We're not saying like, oh, pity us because we did that. No, we voluntarily did that.
Yeah.
We're just asking for, not just on behalf of small brands, small businesses, appreciate what is being given to you, because there's a reason that price is there.
Yeah.
And if sometimes I feel we undervalue ourselves, and just because I know where we're going to get to, but it's like we have stuff in the works and I'm like, okay, like let's add this thing to it because that's going to take it over the top. Yeah, it's going to cut into our profit, but I want to give people a cool experience and stuff like that. Like what you did, what you thought of with the packaging, nobody else is doing that. And for some,
if I see it, I know exactly where it came from.
and it's like,
And by the way, if you guys want to do it, it's not that hard.
it's
do
not
it
that,
yourself.
it's not that, it,
Just-
not to
hey,
undermine what you did. It's
Yeah.
different. It's unique. It's something that not, at least we haven't seen.
Yeah.
And that's taking it over the top to try to give that experience.
Which, by the way, I do kind of want to mention it. Because I'm a fat kid, I thought of it in a way. I was like, look, our clothes smells great. Like I love keeping because we soften our clothes, it goes into production. I love the way it smells when we open that bin. Like the smell of that good clothes and the
Fucking
garment
smacks you in the
Oh
face.
my god, hits you in the face. I'm all, dude, I want that for everybody. Like imagine you opening up like our clothes and it just always smells. It smells like it's like Christmas
I'll
morning.
tell you this,
It
bro.
smells like
I
Christmas morning.
hate getting clothes and having that new smell.
And it's hot and it smells like sun.
And you put it on, it's all like, you feel like fucking, it's all starchy.
Yeah,
And it's
I
like,
hate that.
no, I don't like that feeling. Like I want to put on my shirt and walk out.
Yeah.
Like, of course, iron if need
Yeah,
be.
or steam it, do something.
Steam it, do what you got to do. But I just, growing up, whenever I got new shirts, immediately my mom would be like, you better put it in the washer. You better
Yeah.
put it in the washer because it has that new smell. It's like from the manufacturer. It has like whatever that fucking salt shit is. Like it comes in like your shoes and
Yeah,
stuff. It's
I
like,
don't get it,
no,
but yes.
like wash that shit off. And it's like, well, if we do this, you kind of don't need to do that.
Yeah, hey, we softened it for you. We washed it for you. And that's why I wanted to do the whole ceiling thing because I was like, how do I do this in a way where I could give this to I want the consumer to feel exactly what I feel when I open it for the first time. Fucking smacks you, smells great. So I was like, okay, there's got to be a way to do it. So I just thought of, I was like, well, I've seen people kind of seal food like with like when they dry
They
out
vacuum
meat
seal?
They vacuum seal it for like meat for months at a time. And I was like, well, I don't want to vacuum seal it to where it's a dry seal like that because it'll be like, like it'll be sucked dry. I was like, I feel like that would be bad. But I was like, but if we could just seal it so the smell kind of stays in there for a while,
Yeah.
as soon as they open it, the smell will come
And
out.
I've heard people tell us like they've washed our shirts and it still smells like when they got it. And that's something that I love because it stands out from any other shirt that you have. You could have, or shorts or whatever it is. That shirt, that HD shirt in your closet is going to stand out from everything else.
Always.
From whether it's the design, the color, or the smell, like the softness to it. Like that's going to be the softest cotton shirt that you wore.
Yeah.
Unless it's
I
Egyptian
think
cotton.
we because we softened from the beginning. I think the formula where we got to this point for this collection, I think that's our formula.
Yeah, like it's not too soft, or not too soft, but like, and it's different because this shirt is more structured than the other blanks that we were using.
Yeah.
Like those ones are way more loose. This one has more structure to it, where it kind of looks like a shaka, but it's not.
Yeah.
But it's soft and it's not hard. So that's stuff that we put in, things that people probably don't think about. The common consumer doesn't think about.
No, but you want to make it a good experience for everybody.
I want it to be a good experience, and that's basically what I was, reiterating to this person, is that like what fashion trends, like certain colors come into style and then they're gone, and as much as we admire people and we want to dress like them, we also don't want to dress like them.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
If that makes sense to you, like you want to dress like name a celebrity right now.
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, you want to have the hair like him. You want to wear the long sleeve shirt like him and like the fucking jeans with the boots. I'm describing Desperado if you don't know.
Yeah.
And you want that, but also
In your own way.
in your own way, because if you ever to walk across Antonio and he's wearing this outfit by chance,
Because like,
yeah, like why are you wearing my exact outfit from a movie I did 20 years ago?
yeah.
And
And why do you have a wig on?
why do you have a wig on? And why are you walking around with a guitar?
When I clearly can't play it.
Yeah, play a G chord right now. You couldn't even find.
Bro, I'll get carpal tunnel. Play a G chord, but you can't find the G chord. Huh?
Here's a hit. It's on the ass.
Never know until you try.
Never know until you try. You're like, I got it. You're trying to trick me. There is no G chord.
Fucking genius this guy is. Fucking mastermind.
Oh, all the people that know music got that joke.
Yep.
And have fucked before. But look, what I'm saying is, yeah, you want to dress like somebody, have that resemblance, but not be dressed to them like a T. You don't want to copy. You don't want to dress off the mannequin.
No, don't
like
do that.
Anybody that dresses straight off the mannequin, I don't want to say we make fun, but in fashion culture, those people are made fun of because you literally just dressing off the mannequin.
Yeah.
Like you put no creative thought into your outfit. You literally just say, "Give me that." Walk away like Chris Brown.
Or dance away like Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's for lack of a better way, it's lack of a better term, it's a lazy way to kind of do things. And I know it's like, oh, your appearance isn't who you are. Like, that's very superficial. No, I 100% agree. It's very superficial, but it is a first appearance. And when you see people that, like, it's like one of those things, like, I love it when people, I love it when I go to a restaurant. I'll even see like an older couple, like they're dressed up like they have their nice slacks, nice shirt. I was like, that's a nice ass. I was like, that's some dope ass shoes. I was like, he's even got some cool socks. Like, I see that. I'm like, it's his own way of doing it, but I know that he tried and he's like, it meant something to him.
Yeah, like,
I respect that.
You go to my grandparents' house, they'll be chilling, pajamas, some shirts, like you busted. Not to throw my grandparents on the bus, but when they go out, they're color coordinated.
Oh yeah,
fucking the dress pants pleated. My grandpa is 81 years old and he's still getting fresh. Like, my grandma dresses him. That's neither here nor there. But the man's got some swag to him. He's silver fox, and you know, a happy wife, happy life, bro. She wanna color coordinate. Hey, we could do that.
Hey, fuck it. Why not?
We could do that. Hey, let's spice it up a bit.
Hey, I got nothing to do today.
I got nothing to do today.
Let's color coordinate and stunt on these motherfuckers.
Let's stunt on these motherfuckers while we in the pew at church. And I respect that. And I guess growing up and seeing that, it's like, no, like, I get it. When you're going to lecture hall, I get it. Wear sweats, wear gym clothes, get it, 100%. But when you go out, when you look good, you feel good. Like, that's why people get haircuts. That's why people change their style up. That's why people work out. That's why people.
And I get it now too. Like, I never thought about it. I was like, why did she's dyed her hair like 4 different times this year, or like twice this year. I was like,
she got her heart broken 4 different times.
Yeah, and now I get it.
Yeah,
I'm like, I would honestly, if I had long hair and I could pull it off, I would probably do it too.
I've contemplated dyeing my hair, but I was like, you know what? Not yet.
Not yet. No, we haven't gone down that route.
But it's like, take risk, do what you want, feel comfortable. Like, whatever the fuck you want to do it. And when it comes to dressing, like, it is a thing of you. When you look good, you feel good. When you have, you know, everybody has their. I remember growing up, and you know, dating girls and them saying like, oh, these are my favorite pair of jeans. Why? Oh, because your ass looks great in it. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly why. It's exactly why. Like, hey, oh, how does my ass look in this? Hey. That's the first thing they ask when, babe, how do I look? You're supposed to say first thing, your ass looks great, because that's what she's not care about her fucking quads.
Hey, your ass looks great. Hey, next is beautiful, but you start with the ass.
Yeah,
always start. With
if it's pants or a dress, babe, how do I look in this?
Hey, she's all. This is my favorite sundress.
This is my favorite sundress. I could. Yeah.
Hey, your boobs look fantastic in it.
Yeah.
Perfect shape, perfect amount of exposure.
And that's what she wants to hear.
Love it.
And be honest, and always make sure either say you look cute, you look beautiful, babe. I can't fucking look at you right now. I can't even look at you right now. I
fucking stop. Fucking stop,
dude. At this little carne asada, we're gonna go to the bathroom. I was like, you better slide them things to the side.
Hey, bro, that's when you tell her, look, I'm gonna be on the opposite side of the club, and you're gonna be on the other opposite side of the club, and we're just gonna we're just kind of gonna make our way through the club, kind of find each other, you know. Yeah, I never done that.
And when I introduce myself as Antonio, just go with it.
Just go with it. See if we can make this little kitty purr.
Maybe a little kitty. I'm big purr. But hey,
long story short.
Hey, long story, a lot less long. Yeah, fast fashion trends, and that's also why thrifting is a big thing, because you're getting limited stuff that other people aren't gonna find. Like this shirt. Shout out to EJ, he thrifted it. I'm gonna be hard pressed to find another dude wearing this exact shirt.
Very hard. By the way, I want to do another shout out based off his shout out. So shout out
double shout out
to Damien,
Shout out
aka
squared.
Artistic Hype, for the Civil Regime shirt. Pretty solid fucking brand. Thank you, Damien. It was much appreciated.
And Damien, I was gonna wear the shirt you gifted me, but I did not want to wear a Supreme shirt literally the next week after I talked shit about Supreme.
Yeah, no, that he will not do. Next episode, different.
Next
story.
episode, different story. I'll wear it.
But by the way, this
Out of
tee is
respect.
fantastic. It has like little razor blades to the edges. I love how it's distorted. It's soft, a little thin,
A little
but I like it.
deconstructed. Yeah,
Like I like it. It's a good fit.
it's a good.
great
You feel comfortable. You not.
100%.
You look like you feel comfortable.
100%. It's
Strike
not
that,
one of those things
reverse
where
it.
I'm like just.
Yeah, like where you can tell somebody's just like
It just
fuck,
doesn't. Fucking,
son of a bitch. It's this.
fucking thing,
Where's my
dude.
HD shirt? Fuck.
I'm all. Nope, doesn't have the smell though.
Fucking Savaco. Oh my god.
Hey, I'm all. I'm all.
I can still smell her on me.
Oh my god, I just can't get the smell.
I just
off.
can't get her away from me.
Oh,
Is
bro,
it
I
all my?
just-
Is it all my mustache?
Hey, oh my god, I just thought about something right now. I'm just saying, I'm not saying the H Heaven's Demons is a cheating brand for you, but
I'm sorry?
Hold on, let me get to what I'm about to say. But you're never gonna get somebody else's scent on your shirt because ours is gonna only smell like us, not anybody else.
Hey,
I'm not saying
You
if
said
you're a
it,
cheater
not
out there
me.
to buy our brand. That's not what I'm saying.
but if you are,
If you do happen to cheat,
if you do happen, the only thing they're gonna smell is that
Fabric softener.
that fabric softener. But if they see, hey, we don't put glitter on our shit. So if you got glitter on the shirt, hey, my bad, player.
hey, please do me a favor and never walk into your friend's car the day after with glitter on your face,
looking like fucking Edward in Twilight in the Sun.
thinking, "Oh yeah, I got it all off in one wash." Let me tell you this, guys, it doesn't come off in one wash.
Bro, this guy had the audacity to sit next to me, fucking glowing in the sun.
I was like, "Oh, I'm glowing right now." Huh? I was like, "My skin just." Must
I'm
be
like,
great."
hey, bro, why'd I have glitter on you? What do you mean?
I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Bro, Erdy wanting to laugh because he knows he's caught. And I'm like, hey, man, fucking glitter's a bitch, huh?
Didn't think it was gonna come off. Or I
Fucking-
thought it was gonna come off immediately. It didn't, guys.
You gotta fucking take a pressure washer to your face, bro, to get that shit off.
But acetone all over my face, guys. Didn't work.
Hey, it's in my eyes. I can still see her.
So, is this why she wore glitter?
Why does she have glitter lotion on her ass?
And only there.
And only
Did she know? Did she know? Oh, bro,
Is that her mark?
Hey, bro, she set the tone for the night.
What is it? What's the girl from Holes? The fucking kissing Kate.
Kissing Kate Barlow.
Kissing Kate Barlow.
Yeah, that's kissing ass Barlow.
Fucking glitter ass Jenny over here. Go out in public. That motherfucker was out with that puta Jenny last time. I can tell because all the glitter on his face. She only puts it on her ass.
Fuck.
Fuck.
No, check behind the ear. Look, there's fucking glitter behind
look
the
at fucking
ear.
Arturo Cullen walking around. Don't look at him. He's hideous.
Don't look at me. I'm hideous right now. I always
This is the
was.
skin of a killer, Bella.
This is the skin of a fuckboy, Bella.
This is the skin of a fuckboy, Bella. You're just.
Hey, bro, just
Glitter?
put glitter just only right here.
I got
Bro,
glitter. I got
could've-
glitter in my
Bro, I
veins.
could have swore for a second I saw glitter.
Fuck. What?
I could. Maybe it was my eyes tricking.
What?
Never mind.
I got glitter in my veins. Fuck.
You're on. No, you just got that puta in your back seat.
It's glitter everywhere. It's a fucking disco back there. There's fucking glitter, cocaine. Just don't look.
Don't look back there.
Don't look back there. It's a mess. It's a debauchery.
Point of the matter is, guys.
Point of the matter is.
I don't even know how.
Point of the matter is fast fashion. All right, listen to me.
Hey, hear me out here.
Hear me out here. When you see glitters and stains.
Oh, we got this because of the whole cheating brand.
Oh yeah, don't put that on us.
No, I'm not, guys. But I just thought it was a funny correlation.
Look, we're gonna get with this podcast. If you haven't learned by now, we're gonna start funny, get serious, get semi-serious, and then funny throughout the whole thing. And I think
That's our formula.
That's our formula. Hey, that's our brand.
To a fucking T, I think. To a T.
Put that on a T.
That's our brand. Just that's it. That's
They're like-
our brand.
Like, what is it? You know,
That's our brand.
fucking walk away glitter.
Hey, why is there glitter on his ass?
What is it? Is that what they meant by bumping uglies?
Oh,
Glitter on his ass.
oh, it hurts.
Like, what is it? The Andy Samberg gif where he's just like with the fucking glitter goes.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry, guys. I can't get back on the path.
Look, we've steered too far away. I think the other thing we're gonna mention is Drake. I don't know what our time limit is right now.
We're almost at the hour and a half.
We're almost at the hour and a half mark. All right, look, we're gonna talk about Drake being artist of the decade. For you kids that don't understand what this means, I was there freshman football camp 2008 when Adrian Beck, shout out Adrian Beck, put me on to Drake's So Far Gone tape because I asked him what are you listening to. He's like, oh, I'm listening to Drake. What the fuck is Drake? Handed me his iPod Nano. Yes, that's how old we are. Handed me the iPod Nano, put it in my ears. Best I ever had was on. Fan ever since.
There was another song on that album that I had as my ringtone for like 2 years. I fucking forgot it.
Off of So Far Gone?
Yes.
November 18th?
No, it wasn't.
Because on November 18th, you listen to November 18th.
Always. There was another track.
Bria's Interlude?
No.
I'll put up the track list right now.
Put up the track list, and I'll tell you right now what was my fucking. I think that was one of my first ringtones, by the way. I remember this in high school because that's when that album came out. Point of the matter is, guys, album of the decade. He won this at the Billboard.
Lust for Life, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas.
Let me see the track list. I'll tell you right now.
Ignorant shit. Let's call it off. Where you sample Bjorn?
No.
A little bit with Janae Aiko? No, it's not Janae. It is Janae Aiko on a little bit, but it's not on there. That's on You're not remembering.
Say What's Real. Yeah.
Say What's Real.
Say What's Real. I love that track.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, what is this?
Oh, Unstoppable was my shit. Oh, a little bit's Licky Lee.
Yeah.
Fuck, you know what?
Hey, bro.
The Whispering Girls.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I love them. They have a special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm. Drake does have a song with Janae Aiko. What song is that? He does have one. Because that's when she dropped her Sailing Souls project. What am I doing? Sorry. Silly me.
Silly me. Back from Paris.
From Time.
Nothing was
the same.
Been a minute since we kicked it.
Yeah.
You've been caught up. Fuck, bro.
Nothing was the same. 2013, 2014 was the fucking
vibe. Oh,
hey,
my God.
Remember Max? You remember you were there.
Hey, bro, I'll be honest. In 2021, we're going to have a Summer 16 or a Summer 14 party. I'm manifesting that right now. Poncho, if you're fucking listening to this podcast, look, you're gonna have that Airbnb for like 4 days. Just
I'm sorry.
4 days and 4
4
nights.
days, yes. 4 days and 4 nights. Almost like Jesus.
Almost like Jesus, but not really. One of those nights, just please have a playlist, have a theme. I don't mind dressing
All you
up.
girls that bought Summer 16 Revenge hoodies, wear those there.
It's gonna be the summer. You might overheat, but that's fine because there's a pool.
There's a pool. You'll be in the pool with it.
Hey, be in the pool with your hoodie.
Don't ask questions. Just go with it.
You could be in a guy. You could be swimming with the fucking hat on. I've done it before. You could do it.
Chico.
But yes, Poncho, please do that. But point of the matter is, yes,
Drake, artist of the decade. Yes, because we saw
his run. Holy shit!
I remember when Drake got made fun of, and that was in 2008. Like it was a bad thing to be a Drake fan back then. 2008, 2009, all the way up until even to Take Care.
Yeah, but to be fair, let's be honest. Everything in the early 2000s, like what we're coming up with, like we grew up on 50 Cent, Tupac, like just straight gangster rap. Like it was hard and aggressive. Then you see this actor from Degrassi that is getting to the rap game. It took some time to adjust to get used to it, and his sound was more like the Young Money sound. Let's be honest. So he kind of tried to sound like Lil Wayne because that was his OG. But in his own way.
He eventually got to that because if you listen to the the other projects that he put out before then, Comeback Season, and there was another one. Comeback Season, there was another one. But those sounds were completely different than So Far Gone.
Yeah.
By the time he put out So Far Gone, that's when he was signed to Young Money. That's when Lil Wayne discovered and took him under his tutelage. And it's a funny word. It's a funny word.
Sorry.
Took him under his wing, and so it was hard to be a Drake fan for his first album, and then when Take Care came around, it was don't Drake and drive. That was the joke.
Hey, don't
for
Drake
like
and
3
drive.
years.
Hey, and by the way, everybody did.
Everybody did.
I know
nobody listened.
You did. I did. I know everybody did.
Bro, I remember I was ironing clothes, gonna get ready to go for work the next day. And I was listening to Take Care, and Max walked into my room and turned off my music. He's like, no, stop being sad.
Yeah.
Because obviously I was going through depression.
Hey,
but
what do you do? Kept playing it.
And I said, okay, push play. Now get out.
Now get out of my room, dude.
Now get out of my room. And don't need a squirt bottle. All I had was my tears. And so to see from that moment all the way to now where he's the biggest, the number one artist in the world, where it's Drake. It's just one word now. Like, there's no, being made fun of. Sometimes people say, he's acting light skinned. He even pokes fun at himself. Like, he went along with the joke, which made it more acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
He went along with
he does different things, bro. Like, he's done a song in Spanish with Bad Bunny, which, by the way, I love.
Well, he had a song before that with Romeo.
Oh, he did. Even then, he changes his flow. Like, remember, like, he had that song War, where he sounds like Skepta and like that, like the UK type of rap.
Yeah.
And that type of accent. And we kind of just let it happen because you know why? Because it's Drake. Because at the end of the day, yeah, he can do things that aren't really in his lane, but he always finds a way to make it good. Mm-hmm. So you have to go ahead and always.
He earned that respect to where, like, yeah, that's Drake.
Yeah. Like,
over time,
only he can do that.
Only he can do certain things. And to see, like, now we're at that age where our favorite artists when we were in high school that we were discovering, they're now at
OGs.
And to see where the Weeknd's now, where, bro, I did not think from him singing about cocaine on glass tables, he'd be singing that same song at the Super Bowl at halftime. No,
absolutely. I honestly, like, not that, I was also pessimistic at the time, and I was just a negative person, but I was like, there is no way after Trilogy he's going to be able to continue that career and be mainstream. I was like, it's gonna be. I was like, I like it because it's like somewhat mainstream, but still kind of underground. I was like, we love it, and it's just only ever gonna be this. And to see where he's gone, it's like, oh, Kiss Line was trash. Oh, all these. I was like, bro, you're trash. Obviously, you just don't have taste in music, or you can't understand this.
And I know we're talking about Drake, but we're just saying, like, to see our favorite artists from back then, and they made it this long. J. Cole, we talked about. Did we talk about Jermaine? It? And he was around that same time. A couple of years later is when he got signed to Jay-Z. Kendrick and A$AP Rocky. I mean, A$AP Rocky don't give a fuck. He's dating Rihanna. But to see where he's come,
A$AP, I would be doing the same thing.
I don't blame you, bro. I'm envious.
Fuck music.
Fuck music, bro.
You got Rihanna.
Before then, he was in Europe just doing drugs and fucking models. Yeah, I would do the same thing, bro. Like, you want an album from me? All right,
dude.
Cool. I just gave you one.
You wanting an album from me is this high on my priority list? Okay, sure.
Yeah. Oh, let me just make it for you. But back to Drake, like, to see that trailer that he did, that video he did with LeBron James narrating, and to see all those accolades just from Billboard, to see all those accolades he accumulated over that 10-year span, that decade, it's like, yeah, bro, he broke so many records, he's done so much, and we're also in that generation of fast consumerism, streams. We get everything as right straight to our phone now, and
I think it's also good to have, like, I think we appreciate it a little bit more too because there's so much access, there's so much new artists every day. Like, we've had a few, like, people that are constant in our life.
Yeah, core.
Like that, like, we're always, like, those are always gonna be the cores.
When in doubt, you go there.
Yes. Like that, and I think that's the beauty of it. Because
do you remember when he dropped his album, like, at midnight, not saying anything? That. Yeah, I said drop and you dropped. And he just dropped, if you're reading this, it's too late, randomly, just out of nowhere, like he's Beyonce.
And, like, oh, you could do that?
I remember, bro, Parker and I, shout out to Parker, driving, because we're going to go to Dave & Buster's. We're getting ready. This is when we all lived together at the second apartment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, Drake just dropped an album, because I just downloaded Apple Music not too long before that. And he's like, play that shit. We put it on the speaker. He's like, bro, this is insane. Like, before the first track even finished, rewind it back. Listen to it there. Listen to it on the way to Dave & Buster's. I wasn't 21 yet, so we drank in the parking lot at Dave & Buster's.
Like some good human people.
And then we went into Dave & Buster's just talking about the project. Like, bro, he literally just dropped. Like, we didn't even know he was doing this.
And by the way, the whole silent drop thing was not a thing, other than if you're Beyonce or Taylor Swift. But even then, Taylor Swift did that sometimes. But what I'm saying is, like,
it's a certain level of...
Only certain people could do that.
And
not many.
And he did that. And to see where he's at now, I mean, we're still waiting for Certified Lover Boy. It's one hell of a rollout. It's lasted 5 months. But
Jesus,
going into 6.
And that's what I mean. It's like we're complaining about a 5-month, 6-month rollout. It's like It's only 5-6 months. Like in the past, that's the same thing.
No. In the past, even before then, the breaks between albums would be before us, like the 90s. People would go 2, 3, 4 years before releasing another album
Because they would ride out that album they just made.
They would tour it twice,
2
US
years.
tour, UK tour, Asia tour, and then come back. But they also have to live life. Like being a creative, you have to experience something to tell people about it.
Yeah.
Whatever you're living, you have to live. If you're not allowing these people, like as soon as they put an album, all right, I need another one.
Yeah.
Bro, just go listen to my album. I just put it out. I spent a lot of time on this. You could take,
which is funny because I think of mostly rap that way in terms of I need something every, not season, but every at least twice a year. But then if I think about it, I was like, bro, Kings of Leon put albums out every like 3 years or 4 years at a time.
and
It's
they were
like,
stuck sonically in
and-
the same,
and-
musically in the same place.
stop it. Stop it. Maybe, but they progressed.
Now,
And I would give those passes to like different genres and different artists, but I had to think about it in that way too. I was like, bro, they have a good catalog. Just keep going back to their catalog. When it drops, it drops. It's obviously waiting. They're waiting for the right time.
and I
They
think
know
that's
what they're
because
doing.
rap and hip hop are it's relatively new compared to the other genres.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I need something else. Like, oh, you could go and freestyle. Like, yeah, just come up with another rap about your money and cars. Come up with something else. Throw a different car name in there. Put it on a fucking mustard beat and call it a day. And I think it's the same thing with like EDM too. It's like, yeah, bro, put out a different mix, put out a different set, and versus other genres, we allow them time to live life. Like,
Yeah.
and when it comes to Drake, it's like that dude's always delivered. At least every year, he at least has a couple singles that he drops.
Always.
And to see where he's at now, and now he's not hiding his son from the world, and accepting these awards, and it's cool to see because it's like, bro, you look like a completely different person than when we were introduced to you. Fresh off of Degrassi.
I think you could acknowledge it. He looks like he's comfortable with himself now.
Yeah, and he's not like searching for,
Approval or
Yeah.
should I be this? Should I be that? I genuinely look at him and be like, yeah, he's comfortable with himself. Granted, he also has the embassy and a private plane and a bunch of things that you should be comfortable now.
So he's on track to becoming a billionaire.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would hope you would be content
At the bare minimum.
when you're that kid from Toronto, and that's always got made fun of because you're fully black, you're not fully white, you're
Canadian.
you're Canadian, you're
And,
Jewish.
Yeah.
Like, this is stuff like when you go back and it's like, bro, if you realize like how much slander Drake got at peak Twitter,
Dude, it
peak
was
Twitter,
bad.
it was bad. Him and Wale, and you could see the different responses to it. Wale responded to everything. Drake took it on the chin and started going with the jokes. And look at how different their careers have been. Which there's something to be said about that.
So is Wale not in contention for Artist of the Decade?
No, and I'm sorry because I grew up. I was a Wale fan. Still, I love listening to some songs that he drops. Hey, and before that, when it was the album About Nothing, but then there's the other album where he had the song 90210. The album with the kid looking at the TVs in the store. I forgot the name of that album, but I love that album from Wale. I'm getting sidetracked here. Point of the matter is, Drake won Artist of the Decade, rightfully so. I could not tell you another artist in this decade other than The Weeknd that deserves that award.
Maybe Taylor Swift, maybe Beyonce.
Maybe, but Taylor ain't doing those numbers.
No, Taylor does phenomenal numbers. I'm not personally a fan of hers. Not really my taste. I can acknowledge that puts out fucking hits, and she does.
Yeah,
she's
she does.
Drake for the other type of fan base. That's kind of what I've
Yeah,
got.
but she makes pop music. But if we're gonna be completely and entirely honest, rap and hip hop is the main genre. It's the modern rock and roll. Like you can make other music,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
I would love
But
to
you're
see
not the
yeah.
popular genre.
I would love to see the streaming numbers. Like who would? I'm pretty sure it's got to be Drake on top.
Yeah, he is. Like, he's had the most number ones. At one point, he occupied the top 10. Every song on his album was on the top 100. Like, that rap and hip hop is the dominant genre when other genres are implementing nuances of that genre into it. When they have all of a sudden they have an 808 drum. It's like, where did you get that from? Like, you haven't always had that. You know that when you see other artists that couldn't really make it in this genre go to a different genre, and over there they start succeeding because they're taking elements from hip hop into that new genre.
We don't want to say exactly who you're talking about, but,
but you know who I'm talking about.
Exactly.
And which is nothing wrong with it. I mean, you're doing. There was a time when Guns N' Roses was on top of the world. There was a time when, you know, you could pick them, Van Halen, Def Leppard, all these other bands, when rock was at its peak. It's not there anymore. Now it's hip hop, it's rap. It's why Lil Nas X can make a country song that has rap nuances and blow up.
It's the number one song in the country.
Yeah. And the face of that genre for the past 10 years, whether people want to admit it or not, it was Jay-Z before that.
Yeah.
But then Drake. And everybody knew that was the passing of the torch.
And for those that want to argue, like, oh, Kendrick's better, J. Cole, nobody's saying who's better here, but you have to acknowledge who puts out the most hits, the most records, consistently on number one, all those things. And just that, like, it's two different arguments.
Drake don't want to go to beef with Kendrick. Ain't nobody want to go to beef with Kendrick.
I mean, I don't think they do. But if we're gonna
it's a fact. It's not a think. It's a he made a control verse, called everybody out, and nobody said his name. So, but Drake's still artist of the decade.
Hey, still artist of the decade. You got to give him respect
because he's there, been relevant, pushing the genre to new heights, doing same thing like Kanye was doing before then. Mm-hmm. You could have made the argument. I don't know if Kanye did win artist of the decade for the 2000s to 2010s when he went on his run and dropped all those classic albums, but it's something that you have to acknowledge. Give people their flowers while they're here.
Oh yeah,
celebrate their success. Don't be afraid to do that, even amongst your friends or whatever it is. Like, there's no need to step down on somebody just because they're living, breathing, they're still here. Like, that's the thing that, you know, that I like, that LeBron was the one narrating Drake on behalf of his award, because LeBron is the most scrutinized superstar to ever walk this earth.
I don't even think it's close. Yeah.
And that dude, he's going to be done with his playing days, and you're going to look back and you're like, wow, we really got to experience that.
Yeah.
Same thing with Drake. When Drake's done, completely done, you're going to look back at his catalog and like, wow, we got to experience that.
They're going to, like, the league's going to hurt when he's gone. There's gonna be a transition phase,
and the music industry is gonna hurt when Drake's gone, because it's like, oh, you can't just go get that Drake feature anymore. No. Or you can't rely on that, you know, Drake hit to be out there.
No, he's not doing music anymore.
Sorry, he's out being a mogul now.
Hey, maybe he'll be back in maybe 5 years if he want. I guess if he has the urge.
Maybe, perhaps.
But if he's on a boat,
if he's on a yacht,
boat or a yacht or a plane, he's probably not gonna want to do it.
I don't blame him.
So shout out Drake.
Hey, bro.
Since one of our listeners will probably know him, they'll probably talk to him. 50 million viewers, you know what we have here.
You know,
shout out to you, bro.
It'll come across his airwaves.
Hey, shout out to you, bro. That's all I want to say. Respect. But I think we've hit on a lot this week, folks. I know our first topic was a little long with the whole story, but thank you for powering through it. We hit on the LLCs. We got through this. We got through Drake. Everything.
Got through fast fashion. Got through glitter.
Still battling through it, but yes, we're gonna get through it. Yeah.
Pesky thing.
Do we want to sign off with anything? Is there any announcements? Are we gonna do any?
Sign off with thank you for everybody that purchased and supported the last drop that we did.
Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to you guys. We look forward to the next stuff.
By the way, shout out the Canvas for helping out with the screen print.
Yes,
shout out Daniel.
Of course. Shout out Canvas. Shout out Daniel for helping us out.
Shout out Everboom for letting us post up there. They don't have to let us do it, but they do it every time. So if you're gonna pick up, make sure you grab coffee.
Yeah, it's the least you could do.
Great coffee.
And yeah, we're working on more stuff. We got some guests lined up
for next week. Yeah,
lined up either next week or in the near future. We want to have kind of like, you know, where we do episodes where it's just us two, where we have guests, just implementing more guests, more knowledge, more experiences, and more stuff that you could take away with listening to the podcast. So we appreciate you guys supporting.
Yeah,
in all the ways that you do.
If you guys have feedback on that too, like if you guys like a week guest, week no guest, week guest, or spaced out, do you want more guests, less guests? Let us know, because honestly, this is still brand new to us. We just rebranded, so we kind of It's kind of like trial and error of how we want this podcast to kind of go in the near future.
Me podcast is Stu podcast.
Hey, that's all it is, baby. Hey,
Is what it is.
we're just all one family.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we do here. Heaven's Demons. The cheating brand for you. No, just kidding.
Stop. We gotta end it.
Just kidding.
We gotta end
all
it.
right, guys. Till next week. Peace.
Later.